What's up, Bengals fans? Thanks for watching this smartphone production. So, I want to break down the Bengals 2022-2023 schedule and give my prediction on how the season's going to turn out. So, let's see how lucky I can get. So, first of all, the Bengals have only 8 home games and 9 away games. And usually, if there's a tie in the schedule, you give the tie to the guy at home. Well, you'll see I'm not really going to do that because I think the Bengals are the best team in the NFL. And people want to say, oh, they got lucky because they were healthy. Well, I don't think that their health was a fluke either. I think Zach Taylor really knows how to run a practice and how to keep his guys healthy and how to get the most out of their time and not overwork them. So I expect the Bengals to be very healthy again this season. And they added 3 guys who didn't play, 21 or 20 games or whatever it is they played last season in Lyle Collins, Alex Kappa, Ted Karras, and then they drafted some rookies, So I think that they're going to be fine. They lost Riley Reef at right tackle last year. That was a huge loss. He was kind of an injury-prone older veteran. So we got Lyle Collins instead. I think that's huge. So anyways, Bengals best team in the NFL. They got 8 home games, 9 away games. They got 5 games at 8:15 or 8:20. They got 3 games at 4:15, and they even got a game at 1 o'clock on Christmas Eve. So even if you don't live in Cincinnati, the Bengals are going to be on your TV, no question about it. So first game of the season, they play the Steelers. Who's even the quarterback? Is it Mitch, who is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen play, to be honest? Or is it Kenny Little Hands, Two Gloves Pickett, who I saw a clip of him trying to take a snap under center in practice. The ball popped right through to his chest. He tried to act smooth and give it to the running back real quick. It was not a good look. The Bengals are going to beat the Steelers. Then they go to Jerry World. It's a 4:25 game in Dallas. I think that's actually a good thing. It gives them a little bit more time to get acclimated to their surroundings or what have you. So the Bengals beat the Cowboys. Bengals are the best team in the NFL. The Cowboys are not. It's kind of as simple as that to me. The same deal with the Jets in week 3. They go at the Jets, to the Jets. The Jets had the better offensive line last year. The Jets had a very good defensive line last year. They still have a good line of scrimmage, but the Bengals had a great defensive line last year, have the same defensive line, and they improved that offensive line once again. So I think this year, given no fluky helmet-to-helmet Mike Hilton on the running back penalty at the end of the game, the Bengals probably won the game last year. But the Bengals beat the Jets this year, so we'll move on to the Dolphins on Thursday night. I think they beat the Dolphins. I don't think Tua is that guy. I don't think Tua is going to be able to hit Tyreek just like the rest of Twitter thinks. So that might be kind of like a wasted move for them to get a guy to stretch the field when you don't have a quarterback who can throw it like that. So the Bengals beat the Dolphins. The Bengals showed last year that they know how to destroy the Ravens. The Ravens have a first-year defensive coordinator this year who has to try to figure out how to stop the most talented skill group in the NFL, along with the fastest thinking, pretty athletic quarterback in Joe Burrow, who's able to process the play quicker than anybody. So Bengals beat the Ravens again. The Bengals then beat the Saints. Of course, Joe and Jamar are going to put on a show for the LSU fans down there. They might just go for 600 yards just for fun. Who knows? Then they go play the lowly Falcons in Atlanta. I expect the Bengals to smash the Falcons. Then they play the Browns, and where the Browns and Bengals have very similar talent on their roster, what they don't have in common is their character, their values, their morals, their culture, and it's pretty obvious. Kareem Hunt, I think kicked a girl down a hallway, got suspended, kicked off the Chiefs. The Browns picked him up. And then, obviously Deshaun Watson with 20 whatever allegations of sexual misconduct against him, and they want to trade away the first and second round pick for I think 2 years and a fourth and 200 and something million dollars guaranteed. The Browns, they're just making moves out of desperation because they want so badly to win now, where the Bengals have built a model of consistency where they've drafted leaders and captains year after year in the draft, and they've finally, over the past 3 years, spent 200 whatever million in free agency, record numbers for the franchise to bring in players, and it's really paid off for them. And they have really good quality guys, and they have leaders at literally every position. I mean, for you to guess who would be the captain on the team this year would be pretty difficult because there's so many guys it really could and should be. They're just, a great team of men. So I got the Bengals battling through whatever adversity the Browns try to throw at them and beating the Browns. I got them beating the Panthers in Week 9. Week 10 is the bye, 9-0 at the bye. Week 11, same old story with the Steelers. They wanted to put it on Sunday night at 8:20 p.m. prime time for some reason. I don't know why, because it should be a pretty boring game where the Steelers can't get really anything going on offense, and the Bengals kind of just roll right over them into the Titans, where Ryan Tannehill had to see a therapist after the Bengals beat them in the playoffs. So, I mean, that kind of tells me everything I need to know right there, that Ryan Tannehill, to beat the Bengals, is going to have to play outside himself and beyond himself. And he's, to me, the type of player where when he tries to do that, he throws interceptions and he makes mistakes and he will Carson Wentz, essentially, and blow the game for his team, where he might make some spectacular plays, but he'll make some spectacularly stupid plays as well in a pressure situation like this. And I think this Week 12 game for the Titans is going to be their Super Bowl, and I think that's going to lend them into making some mistakes. And the Bengals beat the Titans. I think Week 13, they go to the Chiefs. They got the Chiefs' number. The Chiefs lost their most explosive player. Their best player now is Travis Kelce, who's a dog, but, I mean, he's 1 year older. He's been in the league for what feels like 20 years. And their big addition was Juju Smith-Schuster, who I'd love for you to go check out. Von Bell hitting Juju. I'm sure you've already seen it, but I think that's going to be the same deal. The Chiefs aren't going to be able to get past the Bengals. That's going to be their big, I don't know what to call it, but they're not going to be able to get over that hump, and the Bengals are going to have the Chiefs' number. Chiefs fans are going to be upset, but that's just the way it is. Bengals will be 13-0. Week 14 playing the Browns at the Bengals. We don't know if Deshaun Watson will be suspended or not, but I think it's just the same deal I said the first time. The Bengals have the better group of men, even though the Browns might have a little bit more or just as much talent. I think the Bengals are going to fight through it, beat the Browns, keep the undefeated season going. Then they move on to the Buccaneers, 14-0 at this point, and playing Tom Brady, who's 45 years old. And I think Tom Brady would love nothing more than to stop this undefeated streak by Joe Burrow. That would be his great albatross, another great victory in his career, to be one of the only teams that beat the Bengals this season. But I have to tell you, I think what's going to make this season so great is that Joe Burrow is not only going to get through Patrick Mahomes, he's going to get through Tom Brady. And I got the Bengals beating the Buccaneers at the Buccaneers at 4:25 on a Sunday. And then they move on to the Patriots, and it's another great matchup. It's a Saturday Christmas Eve game against Bill Belichick's Patriots, and essentially Andy Dalton at quarterback, who, he might be very smart and be able to process, similar to a Joe Burrow, and make a good decision and get his guy the ball and not turn it over, stuff like that. But I think what's going to be the issue is they let J.C. Jackson walk, and to me it doesn't look like they replaced him. So who is going to cover Jamar? Okay, so they're going to double Jamar. Okay, so who's going to cover T? It doesn't matter. You're not going to cover T and Tyler and Hayden Hurst and Joe Mixon, especially with the new offensive line once again. So I got the Bengals beating the Patriots, and then the Bills. Okay, the Bills the best team in the NFL. They're the Super Bowl favorites. They got Von Miller. Oh, he's so great. Von Miller, he was not so great for the Broncos ever since they won the Super Bowl and he won Super Bowl MVP. He's really not done much. And even for the Rams when they won this season, he made a few plays here and there, but they were here and there. I'm not too impressed with the Von Miller signing. They signed him for a lot. I think that the Bills are going to have some tension and some adversity in their locker room that isn't going to bode well to the playing field. It's a Monday night game at Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati takes this game as well, and Joe Burrow shows that he is the best quarterback in the NFL after he takes down Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, even Mac Jones, Lamar Jackson, Mike White if they play him. Hopefully not, though. And they beat the Bills on Monday night. And then the last game of the season, they're 16-0 at this point. They play the Ravens, and I think they actually sit all their starters. They don't try to go 17-0, and they lose to the Ravens and go 16-1, healthy for the playoffs. They roll right through everybody, and they win the Super Bowl. Last year, a lot of fans, I was reading on the comments and stuff like that, said, next year's our year, next year's our year, and I agree. Next year is this year, and it's our year to win the Super Bowl. They made the Super Bowl last year because they are such a great group of men. Like I was saying before, they are so cohesive as a unit and able to battle through any adversity or any challenge, don't get down on themselves, and they just keep fighting through it and making good decisions. And that's what's going to lead them into this championship this year. So maybe next season they fall off and they lose early in the playoffs or something like that because they've played essentially two 21-game seasons or two 20-game seasons, whatever it is. So I imagine they'll be pretty ready to take a break. Hopefully not, but I think next year's the year where they might fall off. But this year, it's not the fall-off year like everybody that's not a Bengals fan hopes it is. You see it all over Twitter, all over YouTube comments. People, oh, the Bengals will fall off. Anytime you post something positive about the Bengals in the universal chat that's, a video involving multiple teams, someone will hop on your Bengals comment and say, the Bengals are going to fall off, the Bengals are a fluke, something like that. So I don't think that's the case. The Bengals go 16-1, win the Super Bowl. And I got Joe Burrow winning the MVP, Joe Mixon being the rushing leader, and probably one of our defensive backs, or just as a group, having the most turnovers in the NFL this season. I think the Bengals are going to be outstanding, and I can't wait to see it. Go Bengals.